I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy.
All right, guys, so I wanted to go ahead and start out this episode with a quick shout out to the legend Gilbert Godfrey, who sadly passed away last week, and we completely forgot to mention it while we were talking about everything. So, I don't know what you guys have for your frame of reference for Gilbert Godfrey, but I think mine was, like a lot of people, was Iago initially.
Yeah.
Problem Child.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Problem Child, too.
Oh, yeah.
It was good, yeah.
Problem Child.
And, of course...
Hollywood Squares.
Oh, God, his Hollywood Squares was hilarious.
My other one was the USA Up All Night movie theater thing where he used to host that with like the messed up movies and stuff in the middle of the night.
Oh, I never saw that.
Wow. Like they like USA used to try to slide in some Showtime, B porn shit. They wouldn't really show anything, but they'd show you close enough.
That makes sense.
He was like the host of it. It was like how Elvira used to do the horror theater. It was kind of like that, but him doing like weird B flick movies and stuff.
Okay.
And then when he did the roast of what's his name? Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner.
Oh boy, that was legendary.
He was on a lot of roast daises.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever did one for him though, unfortunately.
Oh no, he did.
Did they? No, I'm saying, did they do one for Gilbert?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, for Gilbert. I don't think they did one for him.
For
they should.
Gilbert? I don't think so.
No, they should. But the problem is now he's gone. Yeah. We have post.
His reactions would have been over the top. Posthumously, you don't want that.
Because he would blow everyone away with the end speech of his own. He would just destroy everyone else.
Yeah.
Because for those who never saw his stuff, because obviously he did a lot of kids related content because he had this silly voice. He had some filthy fucking comedy.
Oh yeah.
He was like Bob Saget in a way, the same kind of school. Where very clean persona publicly for the money's sake, as it were, but then just horrendous like comedy, which
comedy.
Everybody should definitely go watch that. Anything he's ever done, if he had like specials or where he got to be unfiltered. I saw him on several podcasts in the last few years where he just let loose. But it was so funny when he's not doing the character of Gilbert Godfrey. He's very kind of just low spoken.
Yeah, he's very soft spoken.
Exactly.
Laid back.
Yeah.
So
the only one that really comes close, believe it or not, I don't know if you guys have heard him, is Steven Crowder.
Oh yeah. Oh, Steven Crowder's. You mean his his Bernie impression?
His Bernie Sanders.
He does Bernie Sanders as Gilbert Godfrey, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, he squints. Actually, Crowder's really good at impressions. Like, just in general, he's really good. Just completely off topic.
It's actually apropos that you brought Gilbert Godfrey up, because I was just thinking about him earlier, because my kids were watching Fairly Odd Parents, and he does one of the voices on there, that creepy dentist doctor guy. Yeah.
Oh, did you guys?
I was like, holy crap! I forgot Gilbert Godfrey was on this show.
Did you guys know he got fired from the Affleck commercials?
I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, actually, I think we heard it was on Crowder when they talked about it when they did his thing. He actually had gotten fired, and I forget if it was for his comedy or it was something he got accused of that he didn't do.
Probably that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Me Too stuff.
Yeah, it was a Me Too thing, and I think it was completely false, but because they, always jumped the gun on things, that he actually got fired from the Affleck commercials. I'm sure that, just saying the same word over and over again was probably getting old. But it was one of those things where you just bring in somebody who just imitates his ass.
Ask Vin Diesel, who just keeps saying "I am Groot" over and over, and makes millions of dollars, if that gets old.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly,
but
right.
Apparently he's going to talk a little bit more in upcoming Guardians. Just from
that's going to be dumb if they do that.
I don't think it'll be whole conversations, but they're doing.
He never says anything more than "I am Groot."
Yeah,
or we are Groot.
That's not necessarily true. In the older comics of Marvel, Groot does say actually more than "I am Groot."
If you're talking about the original one,
I think in the older ones he didn't talk more. They just had a translation bubble for him.
And on top of that, he was trying to take over the world.
Yeah, the original version of Groot. Yeah, when he was a bad guy.
All right, guys. So either way, while Ricky's dealing with air conditioning problems, which he definitely needs because he's in Florida and it's fucking hot, welcome back to episode 8 of Now You Made It Awkward podcast. And I, of course, am your host, Shoky. And you can follow me at all the Shoky and Shoky reviews related things, all linked down below. And over here, I do have Mike, the Comic Relief Crusader.
Hello.
Yep, hearing his
In
silky,
case you haven't noticed.
silky voice
I'm
back
here
this week. Yep.
So, and you can find me over at the Comic Relief Crusader and on Twitter under the same name. And check out my merch on my website at freelancegraphics.com. That's graphics with an IKS at the end.
Yeah. See, I've actually taken to just saying it's graphics with a K. You decide where the K goes, because it just sounds like a funny thing. Like it's just like you decide where the K goes. Yes, it's like it's a fun thing. Freelance graphics with a K. You figure out where the K goes. And of course, Ricky, while he's fixing his thing, he does the promos for Nerd Rage Radio. So that's our Nerd Rage Radio shout out for the week, because we get a lot of ideas from Nerd Rage, including the top 5 discussion that may or may not precede this intro, because it may be its own episode. We'll see what happens. So if you guys do the thing, please subscribe to the channel. We've gained a few new subscribers this week. We've gained a buttload of views this week and downloads. We actually went up by 162% downloads.
Did we
in the last week, dude? Like episode 6, apparently, I guess that title is really getting people's getting people's attention. That would be the honky bucket is okay, but don't say boobs. So apparently that title is getting a lot of people's attention. So like that's the most downloaded episode so far in the last 2 weeks. And
we're chock full of them. There we go.
Yes.
If anything will attract the viewers or listeners, it's boobs.
That and just I make clever titles. So either way, if you are new here, thank you. And of course, you can follow it almost every podcast downloadable place. There was an issue with the Google podcast thing, but I fixed it last week. There was like one final step that was kind of wonky, and I thought it had accomplished it, but it didn't. So it's fixed. We're available on Apple, Samsung. Samsung is a new one, so we're available on Samsung. Spotify, Audible, all kinds of places. So thanks for listening, guys. And if you do want to contact the show for questions or comments or anything else like that, you can do it at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com. Like I said it wrong last week, but the links are all down below to all of our things. And if we have any relevant discussions this week that have links, like we're going to be discussing the Thor Love and Thunder trailer, that will be in the description as well as the links to all of our channels and everything else like that. So by all means, follow us on all the things, whatever you want to do.
Do it now.
Do it now. Also, I didn't think about the fact that some people are probably listening on the Facebook post, which might be one of the unknown things that gets reported. So because it does, when I upload it to Podbean, it does go directly to the associated Facebook thing. Also, follow this channel on Facebook, because I do post things there as well. So, I guess we were originally going to do the Gilbert Godfrey shout out here, but it's over there. Obviously Ricky's having an air conditioning problem, but Mike, if you want to go ahead and tell us about your past week or 2, because you weren't here last week.
Actually, yeah, because I missed last week. It is 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yes. And you have some important updates.
Yeah. It's been a very interesting 2 weeks. Obviously, couldn't be there last week because Easter and all that. And, family is important. And I'm glad that your dad is feeling better.
I don't know about better, but he's still alive.
Well, I mean,
it's a bonus.
It's better than death.
He didn't die. So there's that.
No, he didn't. But that's definitely better than dying.
Not being dead is definitely an improvement.
Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that he's not dead. So
yes, thank you.
It's an Easter miracle. There you go. Yeah, well, I finally actually finished those album covers for that one band, thank God.
The anal bum
you know
covers.
what? And unfortunately, I did not take your suggestion and make an album cover with rainbows and unicorns and stuff like that, because
first of all, nobody really suggested doing the rainbows and unicorns.
I suppose
you kind of did that, not us. We had different suggestions. You were like rainbow unicorns. I only brought up David Bowie, and you went rainbow unicorns. I was like,
yeah, that's true.
That was a very different. Ziggy Stardust. I still think making that cover just as your own artwork would be fun. I would buy it. Like if you actually if you go back and listen to that episode and get all those details that we put together and just make that as a poster, we'll buy it.
There we go. Okay.
But maybe actually, better yet, we could put it on the Now You Made It Awkward store and sell it as merch.
There we go.
By the way, there's a merch store.
I'm liking that now.
Hold on. It's going to come up in my week. I'm still waiting on the fucking merch that I ordered.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
it'll come up in my week here in a minute, but I'll talk about
Okay.
that when I get there. Go ahead.
So I finally got the album covers done. Thank God. Now the band leader, he's gone away to Mexico for a week, so I got to wait till Friday to actually get paid, right?
Of
Which
course.
is not bad because he's extremely reliable that way. And I worked with these guys before, for almost a year now, so I'm not exactly worried. And then another TV producer that I've been working with for, on and off for past couple of years. It was actually kind of curious because it started out as doing a video transfer for him for a bunch of 8mm video cassettes that he wanted transferred over to DVD. And then I found out he was actually a TV producer, which, works out great for me because, you can kind of try to wiggle your way in there. I mean, it's not every day that, somebody gets a hold of a TV producer and, and you can try to get work out of, but he's been really good that way. He's done shows like, let me see, like Van Helsing, for example.
I don't know if you want to out anything, but yeah, it's up to you though.
You know what? I'm gonna anyway, right?
Okay.
Yeah, he's done Van Helsing, which you can catch, I think, all the seasons on Netflix.
Yep.
The Order, he's done like 2 seasons of that. The Imperfects, which is like 1 season. So there's been a couple of jobs in between, where he makes TV pitches, obviously because he's a producer. And so this past week, I said, you know what? Do you have anything interesting that you might be doing? That isn't the normal, say, matching a Pantone color for, a blue screen or something like that. And he's like, well, you know what? I do have something. Maybe it might be something up your alley that you might like to do. So he said, I'm planning on pitching a animated TV show that's based on Anne of Green Gables. And if any of you guys know or have a modicum of taste, you probably know of Anne of Green Gables. So, the book that's written by Lucy
I
Maud
saw the
Montgomery.
movie a million years ago.
Yeah, back in the 80s.
Yep.
With, I love Anne, or at least that version of Anne.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I got to think for redheads. Anyway. Anyway, it was a nice story. It's a nice, sweet story. And, and because I used to live in New Brunswick, which is very close to PEI, which, that's where Green Gables is, you know of it. And, there's hundreds of, sometimes even thousands of Japanese tourists that go to Green Gables on PEI, Prince Edward Island.
Oh, yeah.
That visit Green Gables every year, and Anne is extremely popular in Japan. Well, he said, okay, I'm pitching this TV show. It's for modern day Anne. And in this version, we're taking the project in a new direction. She's going to be living in a abandoned mansion, and she's going to have a pet toad and a black kitten. And she's a young orphan, but she's a friendly but mischievous witch character, right? And I'm like, okay, Anne as a witch or a witch character. It's like, yeah, all right, fine.
So it's going to be like Kiki's Delivery Service meets Anne
yeah,
of
I
Green Gables.
suppose now that you mention it, it's like,
Well,
oh my
because you
God,
drew
yeah.
it in a Ghibli style, like which
it's
fantastic
almost
artwork.
Miyazaki style, right?
Yeah, it's super that, and it was just like it's like, and when you said he's going to be a witch, I'm like, they're literally going in Kiki's Delivery Service. I was like,
Kiki's, yeah, exactly, right?
But
It's
Canadian.
like, oh my God. So, and he just wanted a black and white image, nothing colored. And he sent a couple of pictures of the newer Anne, which was out a few years ago by CBC, Anne with an E, right? I do not recommend watching that series because they just totally destroyed what essentially was Anne, and they basically made it woke, right?
I'm back.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, good. Ricky's back. So stop talking about him.
He's like, you know what? If you want to do this, do me a character design and send it to me. And I'm like, okay, fine, cool. So, I'm doing a little bit of research because, that's kind of the smart thing to do. And, okay, it's going to be animated. So I'm going to make this totally an homage to, first of all, the anime that originally was released in Japan back in 1979. There was an anime, right? Because like I said, the Japanese, they love Anne of Green Gables, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to do this in a anime style. And what better to appeal or allure children than, giving it that Miyazaki Studio Ghibli homage as well, right?
Yeah.
So, because the anime actually almost looks like stuff that Miyazaki has done, but it's not done by Studio Ghibli because this is like way back in 1979, right? So, it has, that certain.
I was gonna say, how old is the studio?
It's.
Let me look. I will Google it while you talk.
I got to think. I don't think it's that old. Because I remember, like, Nazca of the Valley of the Wind. I mean, that came out in, like, what was it? Early 80s, I believe it was. It's been around for a long while.
Founded in 1985, so yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, so I wanted to give it both that homages, right? To a Studio Ghibli look for the kids, because a lot of kids all over the world like Studio Ghibli. I'm not ripping off the artwork. I'm just, this is the style that
it's a style, yeah.
Yeah. So I added in the character design a lot of stuff that harkens back to the books, right? So there's like a little brooch that Anne is wearing, and it looks like a little kitty brooch. The reason I put that there was because in the story, in the Anne story, Marilla accuses Anne of stealing a very valuable brooch that she's had, since her mother, right? Obviously, Anne didn't steal it, if you know anything about the story. So, there's that. Then there's this little, it's like a cherry tree branch that's in the pouch, of this hoodie that she's wearing. The reason why I added that in is because when she first meets Matthew, she makes the comment of she was looking at a cherry tree and how she would love to sleep in it, waiting away to be picked up, right? So there was like that little Easter egg. The other one was like a whole bunch of books because Anne is an avid reader and she's a writer on top of that, and she just loves stories, right? So there's that. And then on the back of the hoodie, there's a star. It's a shooting star, but only because I added that in because she is told by one of the residents of Avonlea that, she's becoming, this rising star in the community as she becomes more and more recognized as a writer. So, you add in a few facial expressions about how the characters should look, when they're happy and sad or angry or whatever. And hopefully by next week, I should know if this is picked, I also wanted to add in, like animating the pigtails because, that's one thing about Anne that's definitely recognizable aside from the red hair.
Yeah.
Is the pigtails. So I wanted the pigtails to be, animated as well to express her mood.
Yeah, so, I mean, they do that in a lot of anime anyways. When somebody like starts yelling, exactly. Their pigtails move around a lot. Yeah.
But, this is going to be a Canadian production, so you got to spell it out for them, right? Or actually, I don't know where this is going to be animated, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like, it could be animated in Korea for all you know.
Yeah, exactly, right? So just in case. So if my design is picked, then hopefully this means, I get to do design all the other characters on top of that, which would be awesome. If they don't pick it, either way, I'm still getting paid.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of research. Just watching all the Anna Green Gables movies again from the 80s, and um, just putting a lot of attention to detail of how to give her a modern look to such a classic character. You know, and it's like, what would she wear? And so I kind of had to figure it out. And so luckily, I have a daughter that's 12 and a half, and I just had to look at her. So part of her is actually in the character design as well.
Nice.
Wearing a hoodie and, slightly kind of short pants and, sneakers. So, yeah, there's a little bit of my daughter in there.
Yep. And if you want to see the things that is posted online, he has posted images of such things, and you talk about it on your channel.
You got to find me on Twitter, and why you got to find me on Facebook, and and when I started, I did a live video on my YouTube. So so again, check me out. Innocent plug, Comic Relief Crusader on YouTube.
Yep, that's why this section is there for your nice plugging of your stuff. I will say, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. The last time you were on, you should create a Facebook page specifically for the Comic Relief Crusader, so that way you can use it to promote all your stuff like that.
I probably should, yeah.
Yeah, you really. I mean, it's easy enough. I mean, and you don't really have to invest much. It's basically like a real cheap website. But
I just find myself so busy, I just forget to do it.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I mean, I set up this one. The Naimia Facebook page for. I think it took me 30 minutes to get it all done, and part of that was porting the podcast feed from the SHOKY one to that one. Yeah, because I actually have multiple Facebook pages for those things. In fact, I have one that's been around for years that I don't do anything with anymore. It was called "This Idiot Needs to Learn How to Park," and I was literally just sharing images of idiots who can't park. So that was technically still active. I just don't do anything with it. But I think you will be very well served for that purpose. So that way you can promote a lot more of the work you're doing without it having to be on your personal Facebook.
True.
And, that way people don't have to hunt you down by name to try to see this stuff, and you can just share it all that way. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's true too. So maybe tomorrow I will.
It's pretty simple. I mean, page. And then that way you can all of your videos and stuff like that you can just instantly share there. And in fact, when you do your live streams, because I know you're using StreamYards, you can actually port a video to Facebook as well at the same time.
That's right.
Yes, and just have all that kind of fun stuff. So it's just a fun suggestion, real easy to do.
Yeah.
But that way you can promote all your stuff, either whether it's from your freelance graphics or your the other stuff. Sorry, I was burping. It's like
that's okay.
All the beers are coming back on me. So
on top of that, I'm up to 238 subs now.
Nice.
And
nice.
I really started giving my channel a go starting in August of last year.
Yeah.
I've had it for years, but I didn't really do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so starting in August, so not even a year, and I'm already up to 238. I must be doing something right.
I'm not going to rub in how fast my channel grew, but I was also putting out content 7 days a week at that point, so that's a different story.
Mr. Over 1,000.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still.
No, but you've had yours for ages, and you did stuff.
6 years, yeah. But I mean, the other thing that's annoying about it is the last 30 I need to hit 9,000. It's just stupid. It's like, come on, just fucking do it. It's like when you're because I do have smaller channels that are still struggling as well. Two of my other channels are still less than 600 subscribers. So it's like, come on. I mean, obviously this one too. I think of this separately. It's not SHOKY content technically. So this is probably going to be the slowest growing channel we have. But 238 when you haven't been putting out a fuckload of content is actually not bad. But it's just, even if you did one thing a week, it'll grow.
Yeah. I just got to get that algorithm going, and
exactly.
You know what? I'm thinking about doing a little contest to get to 300, and at 300, do a draw for something. I don't know what
artwork or a print
or an MP Soundwave box.
Well, he can't give away things that don't exist.
Um, so, I hate to cut you off, but we do need to get moving because we're at
And that's fine. You go
yes,
on ahead now.
yes,
That was my week.
I'm gonna speed through mine as best I can. So
mine's pretty short too. So
yeah, so I will mention, as I just brought it up a minute ago, I had a few orders either between BBTS and also through Teespring. So I did order our mug. I brought it up on the last show, and I said that the next week I would be drinking out of a proper, logoed mug for the thing. It's still not fucking here. It actually
what he said was Nymea. I'll be drinking out of a Nymea.
I will be drinking out of the Nymea coffee cup. Shut the fuck up. So here is the tale of the coffee mug. It made it from I believe it was Minnesota. It went through a couple things and ended up in Carrollton, Texas, which is just some fucking city. And then it made it to my local post office, and then ended up in New Jersey.
You know what? You should have asked me, hint, to make the mug for you, and you probably would have already gotten it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if something hadn't gone wrong, it would have been in my doorstep 6 fucking days ago. So that's
Plus
the thing.
He was testing the Teespring thing or whatever, making sure it worked.
Exactly. So, because I had the whole thing set up. So, it's a sample to begin with. So, but the thing is like it somehow went from my local post office to New Jersey next fucking day. And it sat in New Jersey for 4 fucking days. Now, last I checked, it was back in Carrollton, which is not really near here. So, it's a hub.
What is it about the U.S. Postal Service that, it ends up so close to you, then next thing you know, it's on the other side of the country?
Well, you know what makes it more complicated? That's a sorting problem. Somebody didn't unload it properly, and then it stayed on it.
It sounds like you dropped it on the wrong truck.
It didn't. I think what happened is it didn't come off the truck, and it stayed in a trailer by accident, like a bag didn't get unloaded or something. Because it's going to be a small box. Like, it's the size of a cot. You know how it is. But the thing is like, it was also... It's not just the post office. It's actually through UPS Mail Solutions, which is not the same thing as SurePost. So neither post office or UPS could help me because it's a weird in between service because it's not through UPS. It's more or less it just kind of gets there on a trailer. And then the rest of it is it doesn't, as far as I know, on the other end, it never goes through the UPS system except maybe on a trailer. So that's the only connection. So that's where I say it probably didn't get unloaded because it got scanned like it arrived and then never got processed or anything. So now that I know that it's, at least as of yesterday, it was back in Carrollton. In theory, it should be here tomorrow. However, for some reason, even my BBTS orders that are coming via FedEx, none of them have made it. So, I've kept up with you guys telling you. So I had multiple pre-orders all come in over the course of 3 days, but several of them were all shipped individually because it wasn't set to go to my pile of loot. It was sent to ship immediately. So I have 3 BBTS orders out there in the ether, but for some reason, one of them got shipped out and then it just sat at the next hub for 3 days before finally making progress again. And I had
fantastic.
I had 2 things that were set to be delivered today, supposedly, and neither of which have arrived. So nothing I've paid for on the internet has arrived at my home in the last week and a half. But maybe next week will be really eventful. Yeah, because I've got one that's supposed to be here. The SHOKY, the Next Moon Studios train, should be here on the 27th.
Right.
And then my other my next Ronin Warrior figure will be here as well. So probably the 26th and 27th. Like, okay, so here's another thing. So one of the FedEx things from BBTS went to Troy, Texas. I have no clue where that is. It's near, and that's not a hub that generally gets any of the stuff.
I'm take a shot in the dark and say it's in Texas.
Oh, it's south of Dallas, but it didn't go to the Dallas hub. I have no fucking clue. I have no idea what's going on with that.
Overflow hub?
I don't know. I have no clue what's going on with that at all. But either way, I'm very annoyed at whatever is happening in the world that's causing my shipping to be stupid.
Man, if only you knew somebody who delivered stuff, you could yell at them.
I don't know anybody who could help me on that front.
That would help.
Unfortunately.
So that's just very annoying that, so many things are just out there in the ether. When it comes to watching stuff, I did watch the Batman on Monday whenever it came out on the Hobo, on the Hobo Max. And the wife actually sat down and watched the whole fucking movie with me, with the exception of us stopping to take a break at like the midpoint. And
no
like,
phone?
and I've talked no phone. Like she picked it up once right after we came back from the break, because I was actually responding to a message. So she saw, monkey see, monkey do. I picked up my phone, so she picked up her phone. So I immediately, as soon as I was done with the message, I put the phone down, and then I paused the movie for a second so she got the point, and she put it down, and she actually really liked the movie, like with no real premise or anything like that. She could care less about most of these things. So a newbie who has no concept of it really liked that movie, even though it's long as balls, So you got to think she's got no patience and doesn't like to sit in place for a really long time if she can help it, and she literally sat through that movie and enjoyed it. So that says something to me, that when nerds like us can enjoy it, but with somebody who's on the fringe and clearly will get easily distracted and stare at Facebook forever or whatever, will sit and watch the whole thing. It's saying something to me. Now, not everybody loves the movie. I recognize that, but I'm saying for somebody who has zero investment,
but those people are wrong.
Yes, but for somebody who has zero investment to be enthralled is actually good to me. On Netflix, we watched a couple things. I did watch season 2 of Pacific Rim: The Black. That show's no, it's not getting any better.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah, it's I would recommend it if you like the Pacific Rim story, because it does continue it. But the animation is just annoying. It's that weird janky 3D animated part. Like the Jaegers and the kaiju are awesome. It's the humans that look wonky. They do them at a 12 frame per second frame rate, and everything else is 24.
Yeah, it's like they're just
it's
basically
janky.
Puppets moving badly.
Yeah, and like the acting is fine and stuff like that, and the story is actually good. And they got into the idea of the hybrid kaiju and the sisterhood and all kinds of crazy shit. Building on the world. And they give you a couple like heartstring moments in this season where people are reunited. Some other stuff happens. The heroes almost make it, but then they don't, or do they? That kind of stuff. But I fell asleep through the first 2 fucking episodes. Like, it was just that boring. And I was just like, and I didn't bother to rewind. That's the bad part. I didn't even care to rewind at that point. I just watched through the rest of it. So if you're interested, go for it. It's only 7 episodes, which I think is also the problem, is that they do these weird, stunted seasons. But I mean, we'll see what happens. They said the final part of it is either going to be the end of it, or they set up for a sequel that will just carry on. That's the thing, is like, you could just leave it at the way it ended, or you could make a sequel. Yeah, there's not really a cliffhanger as far as I recall. Like, I did watch the end of it, but I don't think they even left it on a cliffhanger like they did before. It's just more of a, cool, we can go somewhere from here, or that's the end of it. Either way. We also started watching something together, the wifey and I, and it was the 2nd season of Russian Doll, if you ever watched that show. And getting 3 episodes in, I missed 1 episode and then came back for like episode 4. The first series, it's a very interesting take. It's like Groundhog Day in a way. Oh, yeah. So the main protagonist, as it were, named Nadia, it starts on her birthday, in her birthday party, and she goes through all this horrendous horse shit. She gets drunk as fuck or whatever, and then ends up dying. And then she immediately wakes up back in the bathroom, staring in the mirror where the show started. And she starts reliving the same shit over and over, but dying. And every time she dies, through different circumstances, because she tries to change things, like everybody who goes through a Groundhog Day situation does.
Yeah.
So she starts over, right back to the same point. Always the same point.
Ugh.
But the show gets interesting when she runs into someone else who's having the same exact problem. And it turns out they share the birthday. So the relationship that builds between them and the way they're trying to figure out a way out of their Groundhog Day while managing to catch back up to each other, it makes the first season really good. And then there's a twist in the, not quite the middle, but near the end of the first season, there's a big twist that happens when they try to do something. And it changes the story a lot. And then the first season was great. And the mystery behind it, all the kind of stuff, great. Second season comes back. We're a few years on now. I think it's been like almost 3 years since first season. And in the series, time has passed as well, which they talk about. And it takes place in New York, like modern day New York. And this one, this isn't a big spoiler. It's just the thing that's going to be interesting about this season. Instead of dying and starting the day over again and trying to find your way out of that weird puzzle, now she's actually, funny enough that Ricky talked about Quantum Leap earlier. She's jumping back in time into her mother's body and experiencing events through her mom.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, but
it all birth to herself. That'll be fucking weird.
She is currently pregnant with herself.
That's fucked up.
Yes. So here's the thing. So she's in the series, she's a few days away from her next birthday, and when she jumps back, she's in her very pregnant mom's body. So there might be a connection there.
They're totally ripping off that whole situation from Red Dwarf.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, Doctor Who did it.
No, Doctor Who did not do it.
No, Doctor Who did not do it.
They do a lot of other weird things when it comes to people.
That's gonna be our new thing, like South Park. Simpsons did it. You'd be like, who did it?
Yeah, technically, yeah, you could probably say that Doctor Who did it. Star Trek did it or Doctor Who did it. But either way, it's an interesting premise, but like the thing they're chasing is very, very different. So her and the other guy are both experiencing it, but in different ways. He's actually going all the way back to his grandmother's body in where are they? Berlin before the fall of the wall. So it's really interesting now they're doing period piece. So but she can actually, like, it seems like she can control how long that she's back in time. Like, it's not like before where they die and they reset. Now it's like, because they're actually, it's very much, I guess, like Assassin's Creed, where you're kind of playing as your ancestor, So it's also in the way that Butterfly Effect, when he jumped back in time and he controlled events.
Himself out.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is that her mother had psychotic breaks and did a whole lot of crazy shit. And now it looks like it's because she's in her mom's body. And so the psychotic...
So she's not acting like her normal self.
Yes. Yeah. So people think she's crazy because it's actually Nadia in her mom's body. That's so she talks to her grandmother and she refers to her as grandma instead of mom. And she starts talking about all the stuff that mom did and to her grandmother, who is the mother of the body she's in. So it starts getting really fucking crazy. I was like, okay, so that premise is okay, but I don't understand where, because obviously I'm not really watching it all right now, but and then the idea that the dude Alan, what's really funny for him is he's in a woman's body, so it's really interesting. But they see themselves as themselves, not as the person they're in. Oh no, I'm sorry, no, that's not true. Okay, so like they look down at their body, they're wearing the same clothes. And if they're looking at themselves directly, they are them. If you look in the mirror, you see the person you're inhabiting. So like at one point, like she's digging through her jacket pockets and pulling out all this random stuff. She has no idea, and none of her stuff is there because she's technically digging through her mother's pockets. But like for her, she's perceiving it directly as her pockets, It's like it's her jacket, not the jacket her mom's wearing. So, and now she's unraveling a lot of things about her mom's past that nobody knew about. And, like now I think there was a little bit of questionnaire as to who her dad might actually be, because like now she's thinking, wait a minute, if my mom was with this guy, but I know who my dad is what's going on here. So it's interesting. It's an interesting story, but it's very wonky to go from this one type of quote unquote time travel to this one. It's a massive jump. But the fun part is, like I said, she can sort of control. The way they manage to do it is they get on the subway. And in the middle of the subway ride, it changes. So the first time it happens, she's drunk as hell. You know, she had just dealt with her adopted grandmother, taking her to the ER. She gets on the subway and starts looking around, and she realizes the signs on the wall are for old movies. She realizes like there's an old Coke sign. Everybody's dressed retro, as it were. And then she finds out it's actually 1982. So she's like, it's a really interesting, but you also don't notice it.
Do y'all hate the fact that now the 80s is a period piece and I feel old as fuck about it now?
We all do at this point, yes.
Dude, totally.
Yes, the fact that the 80s is now, well, at least for him, it is a period piece because when did hold on, wait. Now that I think about it, when did the Berlin Wall, 85?
89.
89? Okay, so he's 89. He's actually in a different year than her. So he's not even time traveling to the same year that she is. So they're 3 years before the wall falls. So that'll be 86. So she's in 82, he's in 86. So, and it's interesting that they keep going back to the same year to the same person. They're not like moving around, and it's progressing linearly from that point. So this day happened. Now we're moved on. All the shit I just did still just happened. So it's an interesting time travel story. We'll see where it's actually going. There's a weird mystery going on in Europe. So now she's actually gone over to Europe in modern day and in the past. So it's really interesting. But it's weird, but interesting at the same time. So that's pretty much all I managed to watch this week. I will give a shout out to Ricky though, because he did so well on BeatStar this week that I just had to come in and kick his ass utterly on every fucking song he played before me. So if you found out last week, Ricky and I both are playing the game BeatStar, a nice mobile game. He was so fucking proud until I came along. It was so fucking great. So
he's just mad that I'm almost caught up to him without even trying.
Yeah. But remember that time that you decided to brag that you beat my score as I was currently beating your score? You didn't get that
shit was funny.
You didn't get 2 fucking seconds. You didn't get 2 seconds.
Remember that time I've been playing this game for less than a week and I'm already just right behind your heels on numbers of stars?
Yes, but you also fucking bought. You bought your fucking way to... And then, you bought the tour pass.
I bought the tour pass.
Yeah.
Which unlocks more songs.
And then I fucking bought the tour pass and then fucking surpassed you. So it's fine.
Because the microtransaction thing is where you buy all the gems and all.
Yeah, I know. That got me on the last couple things. There are some insanely hard songs that have been unlocked, though. Guys, I know we're talking a lot about this, and they really should fucking sponsor us, because Jesus Christ, we need that. What I'll do is I'll review...
game. How are they going to sponsor us?
Because they fucking have advertisements. When something is free, you are the thing that's being sold. So, dude, I get all kinds of things wanting me to review mobile games and shit like that, and then I always turn them down. If BeatStar wants to do it, I'm on board. I will fucking review your game. I will fucking play it and all this kind of shit. Pay me money, I'm fine. But either way, I did thoroughly kick Ricky's ass at it. But he gave me the
not thoroughly, dude. Hey, why he's running his fucking mouth? He's beating my scores by like a couple 100 points. He's not. There's one song.
No, a couple thousand. A couple.
That makes all the difference.
Well, actually, it does because like you can miss one note and be fucking 70 points behind
and lose like lose like 100 points.
It's that hard, dude. It
is not even miss the note. It's you're still hitting the note. You're getting a perfect hit. You're just not getting a perfect.
You're not getting perfect plus because they're that fucking picky. Believe me, it was kicking my ass earlier because I was literally the different dude. No joke. I was 35 points away from a fucking diamond medal earlier. I was so fucking pissed. 35 points. I was like, that's
the one I'm most impressed with is Gangnam Style,
dude.
The one. Because you got, 4 stars on that shit?
I got 4 stars on Gangnam Style. Actually, I got 5 stars on it now, I think. I got to check.
You got 5 now?
I thought
that
so, but
crazy.
because once that song made sense to me, it wasn't that bad. Here we go, firing up the game without turning my volume down.
Trooper are the 2 worst songs.
Dude, Trooper from Iron Maiden is insane. Oh, I actually had a box to unlock. I forgot about this. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Shout out. So what we need to do is me and Ricky like going back and forth on this shit. Oh, I just got a Bob Marley song. It's great.
Is this love?
Yeah. So we're roughly at the same level. So I mean, you got 5 stars on it for now. That's fine.
You're not gonna take away my 5 stars. I don't care if you beat the score.
Yeah, I think I did get 5. I think I did get. Yeah, I got 5 stars on Gangnam Style the last go around I got on it.
That's crazy.
Well, because the stupid. I know we're rambling about a damn game, but headlights I still can't fucking get. I still get fucked in the same part on the damn headlight song every fucking time, and I'm pissed that I still haven't managed to unlock Blinding Lights from Weekend. I really like that song and I want to fucking play it. And I'm mad that I haven't unlocked it yet.
Song.
It is a great song.
I'm gonna tell you the one. You really ready to laugh at me?
Yes.
I'm enjoying this game so much. I actually made a playlist on my Spotify account.
Right.
I'm just putting songs from this game into it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I tried. You know, it's funny. I actually tried because of this game. I tried to do a reaction to the 1975. And then got that shit fucking completely shut down mid live stream because that shit is copyrighted so hard. So like, it would be fun to be able to play this game like live, you know, stream the shit from the phone or whatever. But all of the fucking songs are so heavily copyrighted, and I guarantee you that shit would get shut down. But while we're on it, go ahead and talk about your week real quick.
Are you done with your week?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So of course I did the proper.
I guess technically I wasn't because I did buy the one thing today, but I'll talk about that later. It's fine.
No, that's part of your week. What'd you buy?
I got Power Ranger stuff in, so I forgot I got a new Power Rangers comic. Whoop-de-doo. I talk about it every fucking week. I did pre-order a buttload of stuff, including what was it? Demona went up last week on BBTS.
Mm-hmm.
Got that pre-ordered.
I finally locked her down.
Yes, and then I showed you guys earlier before we got started, before we turned the cameras off. One of the local Targets ended up getting the Lightning Collection Piranha's head figure, which is, you know, another in the Monsters line. So I grabbed that because it was actually kind of out early because BBTS wasn't going to have it until like August or something.
Right.
So went ahead and grabbed that. I was set to actually do more, get back to reviewing stuff last week, and then I just got fucking lazy. I do have everything ready to go.
Yeah.
And I will say this. Remember I talked about the shit falling and busting my review set and all that?
Oh yeah.
The other day I did get off my ass. I pulled the review set out of the closet. I picked up all the boxes that I just allowed to just be strewn about. I cleaned up in here. Actually, one reason we might have less issues is because I actually went and got a Cat 6 cord for my computer. So like, you know, we might have just had a literal like gigabit hiccup before. So,
Right.
Internet is slightly faster now and more efficient. But I did clean up the closet, you know, restacked all the boxes nice and neat, you know, so nothing's going to fucking fall. Got the set put back together, all the things that got knocked loose, put that all back together. Like I said, cleaned up in here, threw away a lot of trash that I fucking piled up, cleared off my desk of all the shit that I just didn't care. You know, I wanted to try to take pride in the SHOKY cave again. Now, if I could get people to stop fucking slamming doors, maybe my figures would stop falling over.
Well, it's only you and the wife, so I figure it's you.
No. The people downstairs, when the people downstairs slam their doors, it shakes our apartment. So, but that's
crazy.
Well, what's funny is except for April O'Neil, all of my Turtles figures and NECA figures are all fine. All my Transformers, as far as I can tell, are fine. That's a solid wall, so that shouldn't be a problem. It's just my Power Rangers figures all fucking fall over. And I just stood them all back up. So, it is very annoying. Sorry. But that was it. I forgot about the things I actually did manage to get in. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. It wasn't sorry. It was still your week, man.
I know. I just didn't realize.
Let's see. I started off the week the way any proper good nerd should have, by watching The Batman for the 4th time on HBO Max on Monday. Loved it. Still love it more. I love the fact that I can pause it now and rewind and search stuff, and just I can't wait till it comes out on Blu-ray so I can get all the behind the scenes stuff. So super excited about that.
I will say about the Batman problem. Well, it's my problem, not everyone else's problem. I had to keep adjusting the volume because some of those scenes get really fucking loud and rumbly. Really? And I wanted to be a decent upstairs neighbor and not fucking have the subwoofer rattling everything. So I had to
fuck them people that knock your toys over. Turn that shit up, man.
That's true. But the reason they're knocking my toys over is probably because of that. But because I saw it in the theater, you only have the one type of experience with it. It's not until you bring it home and you realize, like, when you have a decent little tight surround sound just around you, where the real noises are happening. Like, if I watched it during the daytime, it would have been another story. Nobody's fucking home. Watching it at like 8 o'clock at night on a fucking Monday, I'm gonna be a little respectful. But like,
the parts of like obviously the talking is very quiet, but then the action scenes are super fucking loud. So it's like in a movie theater, no one gives a fuck. At home, you know, if I didn't have a decent sound system, that movie probably would have been fucking really quiet for the most part, just coming out of the TV speakers.
Subtitles on and shit.
I really did think about it, to be honest, just so I didn't have to have it turned up so loud. But I was having to constantly adjust the volume for that, just to be a decent neighbor, because I didn't have decent neighbors before, so I'd like to try to be one. Continue,
Nice.
sorry.
No, you're good. I watched the new Moon Knight with the wife. That's like our weekly thing.
Yeah,
on
of
Wednesday
course.
night, we have dinner and watch Moon Knight.
Episode 4.
Still good. Still enjoying it. Still liking it.
You like that twist at the end?
Yes.
Because now we don't know.
I'm still liking the direction it's heading.
So, okay, real question about that, though. Why are people, like, freaking out and being like, oh, God, is this all in a dream? Like, was he just imagining all this stuff? Are you so crazy? I was like,
Because
yes.
of Lost. Because of Lost.
No, I get that. But the very last bit of this episode clearly shows you that this is something that's strange happening, not the
but
outer world.
7 seasons of Lost showed you people living on an island, and that all ended up being bullshit too. So just because they're showing you something doesn't mean they couldn't try to do something stupid. So I think people are more worried that they're going to try to do stupid shit like that.
I understand, but
shouldn't be.
But when
because that'd be a massive change from source material.
I do get that. And I know the reference that the insane asylum stuff is making. I understand that reference, but it's the people who are like, oh my God, is this the reality of it? Yes, because in reality, there's a hippo god walking around the fucking insane asylum. Yeah, because that's reality. And you know they keep people in sarcophagi. You know,
if you don't see it, you are the problem.
That's the best way to deal with crazy people. Lock them in a sarcophagus. Right?
Happens every day.
They really would have fucked with him if they had done instead of doing the mirror thing where he's talking to himself, have like the Tyler Durden where they just put that other film on top of it where you just see him flickering in the background and shit.
The random pop-ins. Well, yeah, I did like the fact that they're getting really clever with the reflection stuff now. Like before it was blatant. Like now it's sometimes you miss it if you don't notice the reflection part that's talking to him. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's like it's pretty good. And I like the twist of Alexander the Great. You know, all that nonsense.
Yeah. Some people haven't seen it, probably.
Fuck them.
We're still... Oh, okay.
We're over 2 hours now at this point. If they stuck around this far, they actually care. They're like, yeah. I watch Moon Knight too.
And you do care, don't you, audience?
You care so much that you liked and rated and commented and send us questions at our email.
Plus, you mashed that bell, didn't you?
Speaking of which, we got a message. I want to shout out Sam. He hit me up in Messenger and said he's subscribed to us and starting to listen to us. So I want to shout him out. So yeah, I saw Moon Knight with the wife, and then because I'm a fucking masochist and I like to punch myself in the dick, I watched the new Halo episode. It is still trash. It is not ever going to be fixed. It's never going to get better. I'm just going to watch it just because it's my OCD. But if they continue this to a season 2, I will not watch it.
Yeah,
I'll just watch somebody review it and give me a timeline thing or something.
Yeah, I think when it's over, I think you should give it. Well, you and or Mike together could probably just give us a whole wrap up of it when it's totally over.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah, all I'm gonna say because every week, I'm not gonna talk about the episode. I'm just like, this one was trash too. It's just as bad as the last one.
Just give us a quick opinion without going into the depth, and just give us we'll do a final Halo wrap up, I guess.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. It's trash. Feel free to watch it. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong, but feel free to know that you're the one who's actually wrong.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even go over what I watched, did I?
No, you talk so much about Anne that you didn't really go over that.
Yeah,
but I figured you watched the same stuff we were watching too.
And then what's the other thing I watched? So Uncle Dolphin Joe had mentioned a while back about a show to watch, and then Shoki and Mike also brought up the same show. I am not an anime fan. Y'all have heard us talk about it before. Not because I dislike it. I missed that wave. It wasn't part of the crowd I was with, so I just never really got into it.
We forgive you.
but they here's the thing about me that some people don't know is if it's something that I'm really into, I will go out of my way to find something that somebody points at me. If you tell me, hey, this show is like Batman, but just slightly different, I think you'll like it. I'll go out of my way because I already like Batman. So
we'll do that from now on then.
I'm trusting this person's opinion, which I now won't trust SHOKY's anymore.
Demon Slayer is just like Batman, but just slightly different.
So I will never watch it because it came out of SHOKY's mouth. So I will usually go out of my way to find that. But if it is something that I don't give a fuck about, I'm not going to go out of my way. If it presents itself, I'll do it. I say all that to say this. He brought up this show a couple years ago on Nerd Rage called Gurren Lagann, and really talked about how much he loved it, how great a show it was, and what it means to him.
Hey, Mike, I think we can hear you typing.
Then I'm not typing.
I don't know where that's coming from then.
I'm clicking a pin. Maybe you're picking.
Oh, that's okay. I thought it was Mike typing. It's you clicking a pin.
No. Okay, so I put it down. So Mike and SHOKY also brought it up to me in our messenger chat.
Yeah, we berated you into watching it.
Yes.
Not really. No. See, they're gonna make a big deal out of it. Don't listen to them dummies.
Two weeks ago, we really hounded you.
That's right. I just encouraged you to listen to the Japanese.
Yeah, which I'm still not gonna do. So what actually happened was SHOKY typed the name of the show. I was like, what was the name of that one show? And he typed it out, and I copy and pasted it into a search bar. See, I wasn't going to try to figure out how to spell that shit. I've heard about it for years, but I was too lazy to even bother trying to figure out how to spell it. As soon as he typed it out, I copy and pasted it, found it, immediately saved it to my playlist. I am now 16 episodes into it in this week. I watched the first 16. The time skip just happened. They just beat the Spiral King on the last episode I watched.
Yep. Spoilers.
I'm actually fuck them. If
exactly. That's why
really spoilers though.
No, that's why I was joking because he was talking about the Moon Knight spoilers.
More importantly, if I fucking watched it, whoever would have gave a shit would have already watched this shit by now too. And anybody who hasn't watched it won't give a fuck to watch it. So there's no spoiling that.
Yeah.
So they just beat the Spiral King and the time skip happened. I'm really enjoying it. I've actually messaged Joe a couple times like, I can't believe such and such happened and that's fucked up and he's like, just wait for it.
I like how you don't talk to us about it, but you talk to Joe about it.
That's because Joe just answers my questions. You motherfuckers like break out your Japanese translations.
We would answer the fucking questions.
No. Listen to Joe's reply. Just keep watching. That's literally his response to me. You guys would be like, well, according to
I would have said the same thing. Just wait. I would have said just fucking wait.
Same here. Same here.
7, blah, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm like, see, because I wouldn't have wanted to spoil anything.
Yeah, we wouldn't have spoiled anything for you. We would have just said, wait till this fucking episode. We would have done the same thing.
This is all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna tell you this is what the conversation was about. I'm just say one word.
Okay.
Kamina and what happened with him.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I immediately paused the episode and messaged him. I was like, bull fucking shit. He's like, keep watching.
Keep
5
watching.
Minutes later,
keep watching.
5 minutes later, they did something completely different. And I wrote him back. I was like, yes, fuck yes.
And then
5 minutes later, they
keep
did
watching.
something completely fucking different again. And I was like, what the literal fuck? And he laughed at it. He was laughing.
Exactly. You could have been recording your reaction. It would have been great.
This was in one single episode. I went through all this shit. And
it's a roller coaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
We told you.
I did talk about it with you guys, is I loved how they handled the emotional aspects of Simone dealing with it and everything.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying the name right.
Well, that's what my dub version says too, Jack.
Oh wait, hold on. That dub actually says Simone.
Wow, I'm amazed.
That's actually an improvement because it used to say Simon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it says Simone in it, and that's why I'm not going back to reading the show. I'm just enjoying watching and listening to it.
Okay.
And I really loved how they dealt with the emotional stuff with him, especially the fallout from that other stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Those 2 or 3 episodes after that were just gut wrenching.
How do you feel about Virile?
I think the punishment that he just got is hilarious, and I can't wait to see what they do with it with the time skip.
Oh,
Keep watching.
Yeah, keep watching. And
I'm
you mentioned
assuming that it's gonna.
Go ahead.
I'm assuming something's gonna happen with it. I just when Spiral King told him that, I started laughing. I was like, "That's super fucked up and awesome."
It
like,
is. It is
super.
Oh
awesome.
wait, hold on. I just thought
I gotta ask you though, what did you think of the Hot Springs episode?
Yes.
Everything's okay. First of all, fuck Netflix because it says it contains violence and gore and nudity. First of all, they haven't showed shit but
There's
side
no
boob
real
at
nudity.
best.
No,
So
There's
nudity.
not actually any.
The him running around with that little troll thing hanging off his dong the whole episode
the mole
Bunta.
pig.
Bunta.
had me laughing so hard.
I know.
That shit was
Bunta. Bunta's hanging off his
hilarious.
dick. Yep.
Like literally every time he'd turn around, you would think you're gonna get full frontal. There's a furry little fucking mole hanging off his dick. It's crazy.
Now what not a big spoiler, but it's gonna be funny when you see how important that stupid little pig mole actually ends up being.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's gonna be something more important later on because they've shown like all of them. Like
the only time there actually is nudity in the show is literally right before the end, and they all kind of
they show butt.
Well, not even that. I mean, like actual like it's the weird either animation or anime trope of like a glowy, almost like nude spirit body. And that's it. And that's it. That's literally the only thing they're classifying as nudity.
Thanks for letting me know.
No. I'm not saying people died. I'm saying that that's the trope is like instead of showing all full thing, it's like a glowy naked body, so you don't see any actual details. That's what I was getting at.
Like the Sailor Moon bullshit.
Exactly that. Where technically she's naked, but it's that trope. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't trying to spoil anything. I'm just saying that's where they're qualifying it because technically the people.
Again, I want my fucking flowers, you piece of shit. I got the Sailor Moon reference, and I've never even watched that show.
Let me just tell you one thing, okay?
No, God.
This is not a spoiler.
Go ahead.
Just when you think it's like at the epic point, it gets even more epic.
It goes epic.
Well, here's the thing: is it's already more epicer already because it's got me contemplating downloading another fucking app. Which, if you've listened to us talk before, I am not a fan of doing. And
so wait,
I'm gonna have to download something because there's only season 1 on Netflix.
But listen.
Well, hold on. I looked at it.
Do me a little bit of a favor when you're done the whole series, okay? Just try to watch it in Japanese. Okay.
No.
Yeah, give it a rewatch. It's better.
Just I just said try.
And because we're friends, and I try really hard to be an honest person, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to.
Okay, fine.
I'm just being honest with you up front. They say his name right. They got everything else fine too.
Hold on, I'm doing a quick check because I got Netflix right here. I'm gonna no, don't do that. Stop downloading.
Season 1 through 27 or 1 through 28.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you can even find them on YouTube. They do like these.
No, I'm saying there isn't another season past that. That's all of it.
No. But
I thought you said there was a second season.
No, but then I told you when you told me the episode numbers, and then I looked. It actually that's all of it. Other places split it into 2 separate
episodes in the whole show.
No, there is actually.
We're not talking about the extra stuff. Right? We're talking about only the core episodes, Mike.
Well, only the core episodes, yes.
That's
it.
Well, there was one whole episode where it was the people drawing. Like episode 14 or 15 was like it showed the live animators drawing the show.
Yeah,
and doing shit like that. So
there is that too. Yeah,
episode 16. Episode 16 is like a recap thing, so that's not a real episode. But then that's
one where it's just all drawing and shit like that.
So 17 is the time skip. 17 is this time skip. So no, seriously, the second half of it is well, I guess it's 17 through 27, so 10 episodes. So it is a short-lived show, but most places split it there into a second season, quote unquote. Yeah. But that's what I told you. They just uploaded it all as one whole thing, which is fine.
But that's the whole show.
That's the whole show minus the what Mike's talking about.
The movies.
Well, no, there's some extra
then
stuff
there's these extra lost episodes, and then there's another hidden episode that you can only get in a game in Japan. It's kind of like a 0.5 episode of sorts that kind of fits in between what you would call season 1, right? When they're out in the wilderness kind of thing.
Yeah,
I can get you those episodes there.
None of them are.
The last episodes are kind of like alternate universe kind of things, right? You'll find out what I mean by that when you get further in.
Okay, well, my plan is just to make it through this one.
I mean, they do rush.
Try to find the movies.
It does rush a bit, but the episodes themselves like tend to be slower. Like there's less episodes, but it seems like they're slower.
Yeah.
Like there's one. I think it's probably like episode 24 or 25, where it's like, I'm not gonna tell you what happens. I'm just saying like it's a very slow plotting thing because it's meant to be. And then you realize that was only one episode. It's one of those things. So, so they have slow moments.
I am enjoying the crap out of it.
Good.
Good.
Then watch Demon Slayer.
Joe said something that really piqued my interest, and when I'm all said and done, I'm gonna have a conversation with him, or maybe see if he'll want to come over here and talk with us over here.
Oh, he will.
Because what he said was, when I brought the show up that I was watching it and stuff, he's like, I love that show. I try to live my life by that show. And I want him to come on and explain what he means by that after I've watched the whole thing. So
he is all that is man.
Yeah, I'm really interested in hearing his take on that one.
I mean, Uncle Dolphin is always invited to come talk, but that'll be a very long episode unless we nip it in the bud.
Yeah. Never. We just let it roll, man, because it can be a special long episode or something.
Yeah. I mean, even if we only get him for like an hour, that can be its own separate thing.
Yeah. Just to get him to come over and talk about that, and we can make it a bonus episode if we have to. But anyways, I'll throw the feelers out there and see how he feels about it. But I want to wait until I'm done with the show so I can, when he talks about it, I'll understand what he's talking about.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm enjoying that. I will give you guys low-key flowers because y'all did get me finally over the hurdle of watching it.
By sheer luck that I spelled it right, and you.
Yeah, because if I copied and pasted it and it hadn't worked right, I would not be watching it right now.
Yeah, but it is funny that the Netflix version doesn't include the full title of the show. It's just called Gurren Lagann.
Yeah,
I know, right?
That'll actually include the whole title. It's funny. Makes it easier, I guess.
So that's for my watching. I've done that, and then my kid had baseball tournaments this weekend in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
They did really good yesterday, man. They won both their games. One of them was 12-7. The other one was 12-8. I think was the final scores.
Nice.
And then today, it's supposed to be a double elimination, but something happened. I think one of the teams dropped out, so they ended up making it singular elimination because they had odd number of teams.
Yeah,
and we went in there and played against one of the top 5 teams in the States, and we were winning. We were up 8-6 at one time, but then they got in there in one inning, dude. They made fucking 11 points, I think, in that inning. They just were drilling the ball, and our guys got all. You could see it. They physically shut down. You saw their shoulders droop after about the 5th or 6th score. They just kind of gave up, and so they ended up losing. So we got eliminated first round. But I got home early, so I mean, it was still fun. It was a nice day for baseball. It was a good game up until that give up point, because even when the other team started coming back and started winning, the guys were still trying, and it was good baseball. It was fun to watch them. They were practicing the mechanics and getting it done right. They ran a couple pickle plays, which came out good. They were doing a good job until they gave up, and then that was the end of the game. So that was that. That was my weekend so far. That's it. That's it for my week.
Cool. Yeah, because I'm looking at the time. We're already at almost 2.5.
Yeah. So we spent the first hour and a half just talking about
our top 5.
Our top 5 went for a long time, but that's why I figured we're gonna get a bonus one way or the other. Yeah.
It was good though. I enjoyed it. It was fun. We don't have to keep cutting stuff out.
Yeah. And then also to cap off all of our weeks, we were all in the Bobby Skullface Zoom chat.
Yeah, the Patreon
Zoom chat.
Yes.
Yeah, we had some new people in there today. That was nice. We got some new members in there that came into the meeting. It was a good.
They're always so shy at first, aren't they?
Yeah, but that stays. The rule stays in there, so we're gonna leave that there. We were in a Zoom meeting. We all hung out and talked in there for a little while.
I will say on a side note,
for anybody who does join in on Bobby Skullface's Patreon, when you come into the monthly Zoom meetings, it's hard to get a word in edgewise between Ricky, Mike, and now Blaster. Blaster, like,
I like how he tries to blame that shit on me. I'm the one who was telling everybody to mute themselves.
No, but
I was pretty quiet.
No,
this time.
But I'm saying, like, but beforehand, like when most people would just only pipe up whenever, like it was definitely, but like obviously Mike gets the floor every now and then for specific announcements and stuff. So that's not stuff. Yeah. But then like Ricky was like one of the first people that I saw being in there who was actually willing to jump in and like really talk and like bring stuff up. So I was like, I wasn't knocking you for that, but I'm saying like some people have to learn to actually like speak up and get in there, or other people end up just dominating. Grease the wheels.
I was trying to get the wheels moving in the right direction. I was trying to get conversations started and trying to. Sam actually brought that up when he messaged me earlier. He's like, "Good on you for trying to get it going that way." But we want it to run good. I mean, we want to make it as easy as possible. I'm still, you know, it's weird. It's weird to have this feeling because like Bobby is very much appreciative of us being in his Patreon and stuff. So he always feels, not that he needs to, but not that he feels obligated to, but he likes doing that because he feels like he's then giving us something back for it.
Well, yeah.
And I feel the other way is I'm like, we're taking his time from his wife and kids, but you know, they'll come down and talk.
But they're included. That's the thing. Until he goes late and he gets summoned upstairs.
Every time I'll message him, or I'll say to him, like, I've even told his wife, I'm like, thank you for sharing, you know, y'all's time with us and stuff. And I try to be gracious about it. But in order to make that kind of work, we get these lulls. It's either everybody's talking all at once or nobody's talking.
Yeah,
Bobby doesn't want to have his Zoom meeting isn't about pontificating to us. He doesn't want to just sit there and talk at us. He said before that's what his reviews and his sit down Saturdays and stuff for is for him to say what
he wants to talk with
Zoom
you.
Meeting, yes, the Zoom meeting is he wants to hear what our interpretations of either what he has said or what we're dealing with in our world, what our take on that is, and then he answers questions if anybody asks him. But he also gets ideas. He's even had some sit down Saturdays and some of the other, how should I put it, shop talks that have come up throughout his stuff
through the relationships of the Patreon.
That and it started in the Zoom meeting. Somebody brought up a question which sparked an interest, which somebody else said, "Hey, you know, actually I such and such," and Bobby's like, "Oh, you do? So we need to talk." And then boom, next you know, we have a whole nother thing.
And now he's got new content. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it's
really
for
really
a creator.
Cool if people want to get over there.
Yeah. I mean, as a creator, it's like I actually appreciate what Bobby does because I take inspiration from it. And while my Patreon failed hard, you know, I did take a lot of what he did to try to do that, but I've ended up in a very different manner. So like, not to truly get off on that same stuff. So like my third channel, the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense channel, I do 2 live streams a week over there, and the people really enjoy it because other creators doing that type of stuff don't necessarily take the time to talk to the chat. Half the time they're just interested in the content they're doing and just taking they're talking heads, but the chat's there. Whereas I will, because my chats are still fairly small for the most part. I do have my my concrete like 20 people who are always there. And then more and more new people coming in, and just depending on what I'm doing, whether it's taking requests or I'm interacting with them directly, like asking their opinions on stuff. Like I'll have them rank things that we just went through, stuff like that. You know, that having that direct interaction with the content creator is a big deal. Because even on the SHOKY Discord that I don't promote very often, you know, it's not even a private Discord really, you know, we'll do sit down chats like we're doing here, you know, for the podcast, and we'll just, you know, bullshit like that. But then I'll have like my builder showcases where I'll actually have somebody who built something really cool come on and display it, and actually we'll have a conversation about it, you know, live. And some of these guys have been like so like geeked out and like appreciative that I actually took the time to sit down and talk with them. It's like, dude, I'm just a person like you.
It's like I just happen to be on this side of the camera, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Bobby tries to push is he's just us. He's one of us. He's just somebody you just know his name. More people know his name than normal. That's
exactly. And you know, if we get big enough, you know, I'm sure we'll do something similar. You know, where we'll have, you know, much closer fan interaction. Right now we have very little, except oddly enough through Ricky. It's like through people commenting to Ricky directly, we get fan interaction. Although I will shout out one of my subscribers from that other channel, Will, who has been going through the podcast and leaving some comments as well. So Will, if you hear this, thank you. So
yep, we appreciate you, Will.
All right.
We love all you guys that are actually listening and talking and commenting. It's still fresh. It's still new. There's not a lot of us yet, but we appreciate everyone that's there.
Indeed. We definitely appreciate all these people who are here at the beginning.
Really appreciate it. You know, without you, there would be no us.
Well, we would be here, but we'd be talking to no one.
I was going to say, I don't know what kind of existential shit you're going through up there in Canada, but I would still exist if they were.
Hey, I will say that after
I'm not talking metaphysical, Ricky.
Exactly. Hold on. I will say fuckers.
Don't make me quantum leap into your ass.
Oh God.
Oh, you want to go on my ass?
So to speak. There we go.
And now we made that awkward.
Yeah. So I will say we have gained, since the Zoom call, we gained 3 subscribers.
Nice.
So some people found
Thank
it.
You guys.
By the way. Yep. Also, so let's go ahead and roll into a thing we didn't get to do last week because Mike wasn't here. So Morbius.
Ugh.
I've done a more extensive review on it. You did a kind of 6-minute "fuck this movie sucks" video.
Well, yeah, I get right to the point.
You and I believe, have pretty different opinions on it, and I don't want to do a huge deep dive on it. But I thought it was easily a tolerable movie, not the worst thing Sony Marvel has put out.
Okay, I wouldn't say the worst. That would be Fantastic Four 2015.
That's pretty damn bad.
But it comes close.
I don't see. I think that's unfair because that's.
I don't know. Like I said, the only thing I found myself after a while was waiting for Matt Smith to come on because he had a lot more energy and pizzazz and, you know, a bit more flamboyant. It's like Jared Leto is like the same expression pretty much almost all the time.
I mean, I won't argue against that, but in my review, I said the exact opposite. I said that actually Leto was the better part of that over Matt Smith. And I love Matt Smith. But what I said there was Matt Smith is almost always just Matt Smith in whatever role he's in. Like he didn't other than the literal transformation in the movie, he is just Matt Smith on screen. Think about it.
Yeah.
Like how much of this character was any different?
I don't know. He wasn't exactly Matt Smith in that Terminator movie.
Yeah, I mean, but he was also barely on screen, let's be honest here. But actually, that's where I talked last week. The only time I've seen him truly transform was in the Charles Manson movie. That was not Matt Smith on screen.
That I did not see.
Yes, it's on Netflix. It's called Charlie Says. Talked about it last week. Not a great movie, technically. Like, it's probably a D, but, it's worth a watch because you see Matt Smith actually transform. But this is why I said like we got very differing opinions on Morbius. I thought a lot of people really just kind of, and I get your arguments on it. I do, like some of the visuals and stuff like that. Is definitely, it's weird to say the least. And a lot of things aren't really explained, but I actually like the fact they didn't over explain everything like other movies tend to.
Well, I mean, to me, it doesn't have to overly explain, like, basically babysit you through it. Mm-hmm. But a little bit of an explanation would be nice. Maybe, I don't know, a 30-second, like review of how, some situation came to this result kind of thing.
Yeah. I think my only thing that I was left wanting a tiny explanation on was how he flies. Like that's just, I think
precisely that, right? It's like I can feel the wind or something.
I think
I can fly now.
Yeah.
What?
I think
I think, well, throughout most of the movie, they don't do any hand holding and they don't do giant exposition dumps, but they do small enough ones. So in the one way it was written, it was like, okay, we're going to put it on screen and see if you catch it, is a lot of it. And I think it was part of the conversation he mentioned really early on, I guess when he was first talking to the female doctor about the, not that one, Ricky, when he talks about the bats, they're like super light, they weigh almost nothing. So they can move around. And I think that was supposed to be implied when he's in bat mode, like he's also like paperweight almost. Because like his transformation makes no sense realistically, if you even think about it, because instantaneous, completely morphing into another thing, and then changing back in an instant, no problem. So that part in and of itself makes no sense. But
no,
I think that it was supposed to be implied that he's riding the sound waves. Because you could hear the train coming, and it's almost like you're talking like the pressure wave of sound is literally enough to lift him and move him. But then later when he's just kind of jumping and gliding, I guess the implication would be that these sounds of the city noise is doing it. But that's the
I
one.
don't know.
That's the no. I'm saying I think that's what they were trying to imply. I'm not excusing it because this is the one thing in the movie that wasn't on a basic level explained.
Argument.
Yeah. Yeah. Like at least he went over all his powers, he went over all his deficits and stuff like that with minor exposition, but also showing you while he's experimenting on himself. But then on the other side, we never see. We just make the assumption that Matt Smith is going through a lot of these same things, but in a very different mindset, you know. But to the fact that he also never learned how to control bats and do a bat Kamehameha.
Yeah, my God.
Which was I laughed so fucking hard when I realized that. Like I know a lot of people cringe at that. I laughed at it and enjoyed it when I realized what he was doing. But it was really dumb. I'm not even going to defend it. I'm just going to say I laughed at it and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because I was just he's literally doing a bat command.
It was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
But, I mean, at least he didn't kill Matt Smith's character. Or was it Milo? Yeah, Milo. He didn't kill Milo with the bat Kamehameha. He just knocked the fuck out of him so that he could get up there and actually do not with no spoilers, what he did to actually end him.
Yeah.
But then
it's still a spoiler when you say he killed him.
Well, it's okay. First of all, what Marvel movie? Exactly. What Marvel movie generally Marvel-esque movie allows Infinity the villain? War. Yeah, barely lets the villain Infinity escape. War. Well, that's because that movie wasn't about the heroes. That was Thanos' movie.
Yeah.
So in his case,
Thanos wasn't the villain in that movie.
No, that's what I said. Thanos was a hero. So he actually did kill a lot of his bad guys.
True.
Half of them, actually.
Gotta let you guys go because I gotta make it to the store before it closes.
Okay. Are you going to be able to come back or are you just going to run to the store?
Yeah, I'll come back.
Okay. So we'll just pause Mike for a while.
Cool.
It's fine.
I will mute it. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Okie dokie.
All right, as long as y'all are done with Morbius, because I haven't seen it. So
okay. So now that Mike's back, and Morbius gave us a little leg up into Marvel. We do have a little bit of news. The teaser trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder dropped this week, and I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
I'm meh.
Did you watch it again after having coffee since you fucking really hated it the first time?
I wouldn't say really hated it. It's just that I have low expectations at this point.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I pictured you with like your hair still sticking up fresh out of bed and dried slobber on the side of your mouth.
One eye half open.
Yeah,
he's like,
that's pretty much
it. He's like, what the fuck is this shiny garbage?
I first watched it while I was on the crapper.
Oh,
I think that was his response is, what the fuck did you just make me watch or something like that. Or
no, I think he literally replied, underwhelming. I was hoping you were talking about your shit.
No, that was relieving. So
so that was the best part of the trailer was the turd.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so when you said this is shit, you were actually talking about the
actual shit.
As I'm eating a chocolate bar right now.
Good lord.
Does it have veins?
No.
That's my new favorite thing.
veiny,
veiny Snickers bar?
Yeah, no, I made that connection before someone ever fucking brought it up on something else. Like, that's
but
weird.
no, did you see the whole big thing? Like, where there's some kind of like Christian group trying to make a thing out of it?
No, I have not seen that, but that's fucking crazy that they would take it that far. This is why the internet is a bad thing.
I'm like, what the fuck is
the whole
wrong
thing isn't shaped like that. If you have a penis that comes to a complete stop at one end, yeah, it's just like, come on.
Yeah, what was it? They were trying to say that Thor was like bi or something like that because of the way he was looking at Star-Lord or something.
Well, that was a non sequitur, but thanks.
No, that was actually trending on Twitter.
About that? Okay, so look.
Yeah.
I don't go on Twitter.
No, look.
Twitter, just from what I hear about Twitter, enrages me. So
I cannot wait for Elon to fucking make it go away. Either way. So that addressing that. Okay, so because he's doing the whole speech, you just like got to look into the eyes of the ones that love you and know whatever, or the ones you love, I should say. And Thor is staring back at Star-Lord, and he's like, not me, them. And he's like, oh yeah, that's right, whatever. I don't think they're implying that Thor is even like gay or anything like that, but Thor has affections.
Like goofiness.
They went through something.
And we don't know what's led up to this particular point either, because this is also not fat Thor. This is fit Thor at this point in the movie. So I bet Peter.
He shot himself with lightning and burned all the fat off.
No, because we see him working out. We see him actually doing the workout montage in the trailer.
Electrical liposuction.
Well, you think that would have worked the first time he transformed back in Endgame? No.
Yes.
So I think that I have a feeling that Star-Lord helps him whip his ass back into shape, and we just don't see that. So we see a non-contextual scene that is silly, but we also know that he does bond with his friends, and he also definitely is going to have a rivalry with Quill, because just like when
the biggest cock on the block thing.
So I think, and also that particular moment could also be out of context for the trailer, just to make a funny scene. So who knows? Like, there could be something funny else going on.
Yes.
So Marvel does, and this isn't even a full trailer, but they literally give us like a minute and a half for a teaser trailer. I was like, this is a lot of shit for a teaser, because they want to set it up to be at Multiverse of Madness, which, by the way, spoilers are already dropping. Be careful out there. Some people have not bothered with the embargo, so some people are out there who've already seen the previews of it. They are throwing out actual storyline spoilers for that movie.
Oh boy!
So
I think now you were talking about the length of the teaser trailer. I have a thought on it, not really a theory, just a thought. Because usually teasers are like a minute or less.
Yeah, like 60 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that a lot of it was added in late because of the toilers that happened, because a lot of people were freaking out about they put out the figures so far ahead of time. We saw the Ravager outfit, we saw his God Thor, we saw this, we saw that. Yeah. And if you notice, all that shit shows up in this teaser trailer.
Yeah, everything, or
a lot of that in afterwards.
Yeah, I think that
they revamped the teaser trailer to have all that.
I agree. They may have recut it for that and then pushed it out early for that reason. Like, well, you've already seen this shit due to the toys, except they didn't give you gore. But there is, like, we know Gore the God Butcher is in it, and I forgot that it was actually being played by Christian Bale. I actually completely forgot that. So
Batman's in this movie. I love it already.
Batman's in this movie, but I guarantee you it's going to be like probably CG covered up Batman, because Gore looks very
best
alien.
MCU movie ever. I'm calling it now. Can't be better than this.
It'll be an interesting story, because the whole everything that this story is based on is actually some of the biggest shit that's ever been done in the Thor comics.
And I'm going to call BS on the CGI stuff real quick too, because Christian Bale is a hell of a method actor. That motherfucker grew alien skin on his body somehow.
Well, I meant the fact that, like, Gore doesn't really have a protruding nose. It's very Voldemort-y. So, and like has tentacles and shit. We'll see.
Yeah, but Christian Bale just forced himself to grow all that stuff.
He probably would. Yeah, but then he'll probably yell at somebody for not lighting his like left tentacle properly.
So completely off the MCU for one split second. Just something interesting that I learned a little while back that I figured I'd share. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Because we're talking about Christian Bale.
Yes.
So, Do you know who his mother is?
No.
Okay.
Mama
So his
Bale.
his mother is Gloria Steinem, the women's activist from the 70s.
No shit.
Ugh.
I didn't know that.
Big time. And one of the things that she hated most in this entire world was the
Men.
novel of American Psycho. Because she thought it was the most masochistic, anti-feminist book she'd ever read in her life. And then you fast forward 20 years and her son plays the guy in the fucking movie. You gotta love it.
That's crazy.
I fucking think that's so fucking hilarious.
It is
But yeah,
hilarious.
that's his mom. And I just thought that American Psycho connection was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's actually
So yeah, back to
interesting.
back to your Thor thing. Sorry.
Well, no, that's fine. I mean, like, I'm definitely interested in this movie. Like, I know a lot of people are like, "Ooh, goofy Thor, stupid Thor," but I think at some point, like we talked about it last week, the evolution of Thor through the movies. So I think we're not getting out of PTSD Thor because, as we see in the trailer, like one of the other gods, it looks like a giant beast, is actually one of his friends, and Gore is going around killing. And I mean, we get what's the fuck, the Greek gods? They're what is it, where they live?
Pantheon?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the
Pantheon?
Yeah, but I'm talking about where they lived. Why is my brain
Olympus?
So we see Olympus in this. We actually get Zeus, who is played by another famous actor that everybody was rumored to be in this, but now it's confirmed he's in it. Another Australian actor. Very nice. They didn't show his face yet, so I think it's going to be a very comical version of Zeus, like and like very kind of jokey, almost like the way they played where we had Sam Neill and not Sam Neill, the other one. And Matt Damon playing Thor and Loki and Zeus. Or not Zeus, fucking goddamn. I'm getting my gods confused. This is why Gore needs to come along. There's too many gods. At the beginning of Ragnarok, when he comes back and you get all this. So I think we're gonna get a very jokey version of Zeus. However, this opens up Hercules, who is one of Thor's main rivals in the comics. So we could probably still get Hercules in a future version of the Avenger outer spacey movies. So
and then a green-haired Doc Samson. Give it to me.
I'm here for it. So I think that for a movie that is kind of maybe capping off, I guess Ragnarok really was a cap off of old Thor, but whether he's going to really continue a lot after this movie, we have no clue. And we do know that we got Lady Thor, or what they call Mighty Thor, Jane Foster in the trailer, in the fucking trailer. So that's good. And yes, so I think it's been given away that it's not Natalie Portman for that version. They just kind of CG on the part of her face that's exposed. It's definitely someone who is much beefier because she does fully transform.
Yeah, plus Natalie Portman's like 5'2". She's like half a midget.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yeah. And the other thing is they are actually including the cancer storyline. So that is part of the character. So that aspect is going to be there.
That's going to be crazy.
It is. She confirmed it. She did confirm the cancer part is included. So
that's going to be nuts. If they play that all the way out. Ugh.
Yeah. So even if they carry on, I hope they don't end that story in this movie. I hope they do carry it on so that we can get her on Earth and Thor out there in the universe, just like in the comics. And they go on the minor adventure through this to fight Gore. And I also hope Gore isn't just gone at the end of this movie either. I hope they don't do that. They just because he kills a fuckload of gods across the galaxy. So, we're going to see a few. That's the setup for the movie. He's trying to renew himself, right? And he's like, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to find out who I am, now now that the world is completely different for me. And he gets brought back to Earth, probably due to Gore attacking New Asgard. And then they have to go on the extra hero's journey, chasing across the galaxy, whatever. And then eventually the big showdown.
We're going to see him kind of bouncing out, staying in that pocket of the PTSD, being accurate to his overall arc. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to find that we're going to see him getting that balance where he's not quite old serious Thor, which, by the way, if you go back and watch the old Thor movies, he made jokes and shit in those too. They just weren't funny. And we're going to see him. We're going to see a nice balance of that Thor and the jokey Thor. I don't think it's going to be like this eye staring thing. That's very low key compared to the schlocky shit that they threw into. That's not the ball bouncing off the window, hitting them in the head shit. So
I still laugh at that
that's
fucking scene every time.
Interesting.
Every
That's
fucking
so. I
time.
think it's a little. I think it's gonna be a nice balance where he's actually finding that he's actually centering himself now. He's not. He's no longer who he used to be in pre all the bad stuff Thor.
Yeah.
Nor is he the Thor that was dealing with all the stress and the deaths and the hating himself and all that. He's not that Thor either. He's gonna be this new version of him. I think he's finally gonna find his center in this one.
I think so too.
I don't know. I think they're. I think all in all, they're going to give him a bit of action. Lady Thor, and I'm not going to say Mighty Thor, I'm going to say Lady Thor is going to be the one that basically steals most of the action. I think they're probably going to make Thor look like some sort of nincompoop for the most part. Sure, he'll have some serious parts, but yeah,
you're turning all the way into that Mary Sue wave on this one.
No, I wouldn't say Mary Sue, but I can kind of see the tea leaves, I'm guessing.
I don't think Natalie Portman is remotely interested in sticking around and replacing Thor as it is, but she came back because this story was written in a much better way for that character. That's why she wasn't around before. She did have problems.
That might be why they're keeping the cancer thing around, so that she can end her story arc.
I think that's why she was interested in the first place, is that they included that. Like if they just did Lady Thor out of nowhere, they've reassembled Mjolnir, which apparently from some behind the scenes stuff that is leaked a little bit, Mjolnir was still there on the hilltop. Basically, even nobody could pick it up. Like that was so nobody could actually move it, so it stayed there. And New Asgard has become a tourist attraction, and that's part of it. Like so, you would basically like Stonehenge, you'd come and visit that.
Sword in the stone.
Yes.
Valkyrie, God,
and so there is actually a scene that people have leaked. You know, obviously most of it's like green screened and whatnot, but they see her floating in the air above this exact area and then like shaking violently, like you see like the power is taking over her or whatever. Now, how and why it gets reassembled, that's not even been remotely shown, but we do know that it is the same Mjolnir. It was reassembled somehow, and but then again, it could be like, you know,
I know how.
Oh, it'll be some bullshit reason because vagina.
No, it's going to be through the power of love and thunder, jackasses. It's in the title.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Vagina.
No, I think it's probably going to be because Mjolnir is a sentient thing, and therefore it probably knows that.
If they go that direction, I'm fucking done.
But it is. I mean, that's the whole reason the incantation works, is that it has to be sentient enough to judge you if you're worthy. So, but if it recognizes that we have a giant threat coming to Earth and no one's around
to wrote in the Marvel comics as well.
Yeah, but I mean, with the whole God of Hammers storyline that just kind of wrapped up not long ago, where he literally has to fucking basically, spoilers for the comics, Thor has to kill the actual essence of Mjolnir because it is not, at least at this particular moment, it's not
why
good.
are we still talking about Mjolnir like it's still shattered from Hela? Didn't it get reset with the Infinity War Endgame shit?
No, they didn't change the timeline, dummy. It's still broken.
I'm pretty sure I saw Captain America use fucking Mjolnir,
and then he took it back to the past to return it
from.
If you recall, I did ask that question. And I was like, wait a minute, what happened to Mjolnir? And then you actually see Cap take it with him into Time Machine. So he not only did he return the ether back to Jane's head somehow back on that timeline, he actually left Mjolnir.
Maybe that's how she gets cancer.
Oh, actually, that is one thing I thought about, is that if the fact that the ether was in her is both how she
tearing up her body.
It's both how she can wield the hammer, but also why she's dying. So that would actually make sense. Actually, that's a great way to roll that in there, whether it was ever planned or not. You know, because the comic book didn't exist then, so you know they can introduce the new show can actually do the same thing. But I don't think it's going to be because vagina is why the hammer comes back. I think it's going to be out of necessity to the fact that they need someone on Earth who can fight against Gore, who is coming to Earth for
I'm calling it now. It's
Yeah.
from the Power of Love and Thunder. And when it happens, they're going to play a blend of Power of Love by Huey Lewis and Thunderstruck by AC/DC. And that's when the hammer comes back together.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's gonna
Hey,
particularly
fuck you
happen.
guys. Get out of my head, Cannon. Hey,
I
go watch
do
Doctor
think.
Who.
Hold on, I do think.
I'm not knocking you for your guess, but if that turns out to be the case, then
That's actually making it worse. That's actually making it worse.
Really.
I will
Not
say
really.
that because I think this
Huey
movie
Lewis
will have a
and
good.
Lewis makes everything better.
I do like Huey Lewis on the news. I'll give you
I
that.
think the only time they'll play that is when it's Thor's roaming the galaxy trying to find himself. Like, because we see him totally making out with some pirate chick. We see him on the goat boat using. Well, see, here's the confusing part: is that we see him plant. We see him plant Stormbreaker like he's retiring, and then clearly later he's in his new outfit with Stormbreaker using the Bifrost to get around in the goat boat. So, like, clearly
I think that's how they're gonna end his stories. He's gonna become the new Odin.
Well, that's how it should be. He should become King Thor, but they have to restore Asgard. Or I think at some point they're gonna have to do the floating new Asgard, not just the fucking taking over that town, because now it's getting so big and such a giant tourist attraction. It's probably becoming an issue. But and I think Valkyrie is
a target.
But then to go from I'm giving up my kinghood to go find myself to immediately come right back to I'm gonna be king now. I think that they're doing too big of flips back and forth between movies. From Ragnarok, I don't need the hammer to have my powers, to the next movie, I need a new hammer, and now we're going to be I don't want to be king to I'm going to be king. There's too many flips. I think they need to go with he's going to retire for a while, or they're going to flat out try to kill him.
Aside, it wouldn't surprise me if they do play Thunderstruck when they have that scene where he gets hit by the lightning when he's holding the fucking shit. They would not surprise me.
I think they should do that. I like that they're throwing Korg in as well, or maybe that's just a.
Korg is the slapsticky shit that they should leave out.
Yeah.
Well, I like it. Well, you got to wonder too, because once again, the trailers tend to be whatever they want them to appear to be, and we get a scene directly straight out of the fucking comics, and it's when that one fucking gigantic like beast god is dead. It is like shot for shot directly out of the comics, but in the comics there's nobody but Thor there. But in this we see Korg standing next to him, and realistically we know how they like to add or remove characters from trailers, so it could be that Korg is not actually there for that.
And they'll make some stupid joke. I like that one Tobby guy. I think he's pretty funny, and I like his voice. So but he'll make some stupid, goofy little, well, I guess that NPC is done, or some stupid shit like that. And I'm like, ugh.
Well, we got to see, because there's also a moment where they're back on Sakaar, and it looks like Korg has been back there for a while. And I think they talked about how potentially the storyline is, after Thor left. Well, after Thor left, he didn't really have anybody to really hang out with on Earth, but he found out that Sakaar has been in chaos since they left it a mess after getting rid of the Grand Master. So he might go back there as a new champion to kind of keep things in line, because we see him in a very champion-looking outfit on Sakaar.
Yeah.
So
the shoulder
pauldrons, all that kind of stuff. So in theory, he goes there to collect. He needs friends to help him on this journey. So we know that at some point, he's with him, he's with Valkyrie, he's with Jane, and we even see them at God damn it, why can't I remember the stupid name of the place? The fucking Greek gods.
Mount Olympus.
Why Olympus? Thank you. Why am I because I'm in the fucking Thor thing, so I'm thinking they're in Valhalla. So instead of saying Olympus, my brain is saying Valhalla. So either way. So
Valhalla's
we see
not right either. You're thinking
Asgard. I know, but I'm saying, well, we have no Asgard, so we have to have a Valhalla. So and we also might get Alfheim. Supposedly, we might get the other realm we've never seen. We've never seen the light elves area, so that might be where Thor might be chilling and hanging out.
I think there's too many. They've added too many ingredients to what this pie might be. That's too much to fit in even a 5-hour long movie.
That's true, but we talked about it before. I think the Guardians section is going to be very short. I think that's going to be like 15 minutes where he's still hanging out with the Guardians. He loses all the weight. He deals with whatever's happening on this one planet where we see them all together. And then they say, nah, we're going to leave you behind. You can go. Or he says, I want to stay.
That's going to be their kickoff to Volume 3.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't need them to be around for the whole movie, obviously. Although it probably would have been fairly useful for the final battle. But my hope for this movie is they don't kill Gore 100%. Like, let him continue on. Like, he fucking finishes off this battle and he goes out. Or Thor continues to chase him out into the galaxy and we don't see the immediate repercussions of that. Because we need...
My hope is Batman kicks everybody's ass and bangs Chick Thor.
I don't think that's going to happen necessarily. However, there's always potential out there.
My guess is Gore is going to kick male Thor's ass. He ends up mortally wounded, and female Thor kicks his ass and ends him.
I'm going to say that's not going to happen.
And mainstream Thor dies.
No, I don't think that'll happen.
I think they're going to retire him to being Odin's God Thor.
I think
leave him doing that.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's where that should go, except for the fact he should still only have the one eye for that. But
as heart-wrenching as it was for Stark, they're giving all the main Avengers people happy endings.
Trying to, at best.
Yeah.
We still don't know what's going on with Cap, actually. He's somewhere.
Stark and Black Widow is, even though they died, spoiler alert, they got their happy ending though, because they got to complete their arc. That was the happy spot for them.
Thor doesn't have a complete arc until way later, especially if we're going to get Galactus.
Cap had his happy ending.
Dude,
Cap did have his happy ending.
Yeah,
he got to live.
I think Chris Hemsworth should just be out for a while, but continue to play Thor later. Like, he can still deal with shit out in the galaxy every now and then, just like Thor does in the comics. So, like, he could go out there, because he doesn't even have the Odin Force. Like, that's the fucked up part. He didn't even get the Odin Force yet. Because he's going to need that to beat Gore.
That might be where he gets that God Thor thing from, that toy that they put out.
Yeah,
so
because...
he might get that Mjolnir, he's going to become the new Odin, blah, 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 blah. He retires, and he doesn't retire. Yeah. He goes off on his happy little adventures off screen, protecting and being the god of Asgard.
Exactly.
And that's how they let him go.
Yeah,
and I don't want him to come back in any future stuff. I want him to come back in Girl Ghostbusters 2.
No, I want him. I want him to come back after like 10 movies, and like he's older, he's seen some shit. But also
he can look like Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, but actually, what I do want for him, and because we are gonna get Fantastic Four in the future, which means we are gonna get Galactus, I want to see Thor: Herald of Galactus on screen. And if they just let him go for 10 fucking movies, I want it.
No.
Yes. I want it.
Fuck no.
I want it because it's badass.
It'll be Silver Surfer. It needs to be Silver Surfer. Nobody else will do but Silver Surfer.
I don't mean immediately. I mean at the...
They could bypass Silver Surfer and go with Terrax or Firebird, I think her name was.
If they do Nova.
Yeah, they need
Nova.
Well, they need all of them.
If they do that, it would be the stupidest move ever.
I didn't mean specifically like he's the only one. I meant I want him to be around long enough that in the future, because Galactus doesn't just die. Galactus is fucking out there being Galactus, you know? So at some point, way the fuck down the line, there's still no reason to completely retire his ass. Literally let him come back as old fucking ass Thor, who has to go up against the Black Winter or whatever it was called, and but that's way the fuck down the line. But there's no reason to.
You never read the last story of Galactus, did you?
I've seen a few of them.
It's not canon.
It's not canon though.
Oh,
that was a side. That was like one of those Elseworld type comics.
Yeah, but either way, we've been on Thor here for a little bit.
Galactus, he just resets.
He just resets. Yeah. But, well, here's the other thing. If we get far enough into the Fantastic Four being like the lead family from in the future, you know, if we get X-Men and Fantastic Four each leading their own section, eventually we get a Nathaniel Richards. Or is that no? Yeah. Not Nathaniel. Nathaniel Richards is Nate Richards. Yeah, but you get him actually, you know, having Galactus be his herald. You know, for a little kid. You know,
yes,
down the future.
But also takes over as Galactus in the next universe.
Eventually, yes, correct. So either way, they have so much room that they can play with, and if they're gonna have big characters that can still stick around, like there's almost no reason to.
Mhm.
But I mean, even look at it this way: if Thor doesn't die but goes off to be more Odin-like, Jane holds on to Mjolnir for a while, but we still have Stormbreaker. We still have Beta Ray Bill that is completely unused and off screen somewhere. And we're going back to Sakaar. There's no reason they can't introduce Beta Ray Bill at the end of this on Sakaar.
When you mentioned Sakaar.
Yeah.
They could have Beta Ray on Sakaar right now.
Exactly. So he could be on Sakaar, and we got Korg, and we got Beta Ray Bill. There's no reason why Thor wanting to retire.
Because he can't have Stormbreaker. He can't have Stormbreaker.
Yeah, he can. There's no reason he can't.
Why?
Because if Thor's going to retire and doesn't need the hammer because he's going to go be more Odin-like, there's no reason that he can, and there's no worthiness charm on Stormbreaker.
Well, we'll just have to find out when it comes out.
And if he was already gonna retire the hammer, so to speak, why not give it to somebody who is worthy enough to do something? There's a window there. It doesn't have to be in this movie. No, because she's got Mjolnir. Mjolnir's not going anywhere. So they need to leave.
Give her the hammer.
Oh, shut up. I do hope they do because they never really got to do much. So it would be nice if before they die, she does get to rock. He gets to.
Yeah, we're running out of time. Mike's got to go.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, we went really long tonight, and because that's just what happens. But so we do have shut up. We do have another discussion we will bring back next time, so it's fine. I do want to have that discussion because I think it can be a pretty deep conversation, not so to speak. Shut up. So we'll come back next time because we do want to discuss the Amber Heard Johnny Depp situation, and also in light of mental illness and spousal abuse and things like that, and abusive relationships. I do want to have that conversation. We just don't have time on this episode because we did have some very good long conversations already. So guys, make sure you do the like and subscribe and rate us, and if you want to leave comments or anything else like that, you can do it either wherever you're watching this, whether it's on YouTube. Please subscribe if you are. Leave us a comment, and down below we did have the top 5 discussion. If you wanted to chime in on that with your top 5s, please do. And of course, follow us all individually on our things. All of my SHOKY stuff linked down below, along with Mike, the Comic Relief Crusader. All his stuff is linked down below. And then when he eventually does make his Facebook page, we'll have that linked as well. And then of course, Ricky with all his Nerd Rage radio conversation that he slaps together and makes nice little promos for. So of course we always got to shout out Nerd Rage. We talk about them every week anyways, including a whole side discussion that will be an extra thing. So if you hear the main episode right now,
Father himself.
Exactly. And of course we need more conversations for Bobby to actually want to listen to, as he talked about today. So we will catch you on the next episode.
We shall.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Later.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.